tanked it and I'm running that half tank of gas through it. I wasn't real happy with it. I was pretty disappointed with it. I was actually regretting that I bought it because... Can you see where I'm at? Maybe you can see it. It's Dave's new saw day. Been waiting on this one for quite a while. And I'd actually kind of give up on it. I figured it was going to be either late summer or the fall before it came in. Kept moving the dates back and back and back, and got it on over in April, and lo and behold, here we are, the end of March, and it finally came in. So let's go check it out. Look at all the 372s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 of them. And kind of surprised they're stocked up pretty good and stuff. They sell Skag, Husqvarna. They got some Echo stuff, trimmers and blowers. Yeah. And they got several 540 IXPs right there too. Love that saw. So he's still in the box, man.
We had, man.
What did you said you got 4 of them in?
Yeah, and all 4 spoken for now. That's why I wanted to. I didn't know if you done found one somewhere else. Or, yeah.
That's impossible, man. You can't.
Well, I know you got a little better connections than most, though.
Yeah, but it would still wasn't happening though, man.
What did you tell me originally? 32?
Yeah. Is that what that is? 32? Yeah. Look at that. Ain't that something?
I guess I better peek and make sure I got a chain, but I think 105 jag links, huh? A lot of folks buying so over the past couple of days. That's an optional cooler thing.
Yeah.
That guy come and got his yesterday, a 36 inch is what he put on there. I think he's running a sawmill.
See, I was trying to get bars that, that I don't have,
I remember you telling me that.
And
the problem is, we just got them back ordered.
Yeah. What you're about to see me do with the saw right here is make sure it's oiling. I'm putting it down pretty close to concrete, and I want to see oil coming off the chain onto the concrete. And sometimes saws pick it up real quick, so it'll take a little bit to pick it up. You always need to make sure a new one is oiling. The next pull is without the decomp valve in, watch. Well, you could see it in my face. That thing tore the inside of my thigh up when I pulled it right there. That hurt pretty bad. We're out here with the 592 XP. I have run about a half a tank of gas to this thing is all that I've put in it so far. And I took the bar that I got on it off, which is a 32 inch non-light bar, and I put a 28 inch. That's Husqvarna branded X Tough Light. That is nothing but a Sugihara bar is all that is, with Husqvarna labeling on it. So you know, like I said, it's identical tips, the whole 9 yards. I didn't like the way the saw felt with 32 on there, especially with that normal heavy bar, because they're so heavy. The saw is actually perfectly balanced with that bar right there. The 28, really nice combination part, feels a lot better. Just a few things we'll just kind of go over with it. It's got a stainless steel muffler on it, a huge muffler, and the spark arrestor screen in it is about twice the size of normal spark arrestor screens. And they've got this muffler opened up too. The actual hole in the muffler underneath this little cover right there goes all the way across. It's one of the biggest holes in the Husqvarna I've ever seen before, and which kind of surprises me that they did that. The saw does have some insane compression, like you seen in when I was cranking it first in the video. I pulled it without the compression release in on it, and it's very substantial to tough to pull it if you don't have it in. So I probably will not be taking that compression release out of this saw. Most of all my saws, except for the 400, I have taken the compression release out, or what they call the decomp valve out, because it's a natural air leak and you lose about 10%. So if you want to get a little bit more out of your saw, first thing you can do is just take this compression decomp plug out and plug it with a plug. They make plugs, you can buy them on Amazon, about a half dozen, plug it up. The jug on that thing, or the cylinder, is rather large. Like the air cleaner setup, they didn't do anything any different on this saw as far as like the air injection goes, except kept it like Husqvarna has always kept it, and I like that. So one thing over here on this other side, it's got captive bar nuts on it, and they finally got some on it like steel. They're actual real captive bar nuts. They're actually made into the side cover like the newer steels are. Like that a lot better. And they fixed it where the double dogs bolt to the cover, the outside cover, unlike the 572 where you got to do all kind of rigging and to make double dogs work on it, and where you got to shave this little lip down too, and then you lose your captive nuts. The saw, unlike the 395 that has an outboard clutch on it, this one has an inboard clutch. I like that a lot better. I like the outboard clutch on the smaller saws. Steel, that's a non-issue because you can only get an inboard clutch on the steel. There's no back and forth. So like the Husqvarna now, the 562 and the 550 both have outboard clutches on them. 572 and this one right here have inboard clutches on them. There's pluses and minuses. I went over that in some of my videos before in the past. But what we're going to do is, I've got quite a lot of wood here to cut up. This is a normal Oregon chain that's on there. Matter of fact, it's not even the good one, because this one has the drive link that protrudes up beside the raker or the depth gauge. And I'm just going to go ahead and wear it on out and run it on in. It is sharp. I'm not sure how it's going to cut. I know it's been sharpened because I can see the red paint on it from where I had marked it. But I'm going to put the cover on it, and I'm just going to run the crap out of the saw, cutting up. There's a lot of myths about breaking in saws, whatever. The biggest thing about running in a saw is not running it wide open without cutting. That's the biggest thing that you don't want to do. You want to make sure that when you're running it, it's meant to be run. Even when it's brand new, breaking it in, run it, let her go. You ain't gonna hurt it none. All of my saws I do that on. But so I'm gonna set the camera up somewhere right here, and I'm gonna start blocking up this wood. I've got enough here to last me a little while and get it cut up, get at least another tank, tank of gas through it, and see how it does. It was running, it was, these new saws, you can't really tell on them because they kind of, like on the steels, I know they detune them a little bit till you kind of get a few hours on them. Then they'll open up. This one right here, the first little bit I ran it was running a little bit wonky. So we'll see. I ain't gonna hold back on it. We'll let her eat here and see what she does. So it's running better now than what it ran the other day when I first ran it. It was, I don't know, it was just a little weird. But so I'm gonna pick up a good bit more of this stuff here and set it up where I can run through it. I'll film a little bit more. much gas I've burnt. That's about a half a tank, maybe a little more. It's gonna burn some gas. 93cc cylinder on it. That's what's on it. That's to be expected. All right, let me throw the rest of this up. Probably got enough gas to cut the rest of these up. I'm gonna cut them up real quick and then I'll come back. I've got all this stuff I'm gonna cut up that I'm gonna cut. I'm not gonna cut that because it's got all the mud all over it. That in there is real knotty and that is real knotty. We're gonna make a full cut on this sycamore. I cut that back in October 21. Got a big knot over here on this side. I'll start over on this side and roll through it. They're gonna let her eat. That's about a full cut on that 28-inch bar there. Pretty good. It's saw's running a lot better than it ran the other day. Of course, the thing that I have to remember on that with it running a little wonky was you know, they test fire them where they build them at, and so cranking it over here is a completely different animal than cranking it over there, and it takes the auto tune just a second. There's probably no telling. It was probably really out of kilter, I would imagine. I did turn the chain oiler up on it almost wide open. The chain oiler just the same way, but there's a lot more adjustment on this chain oiler, and so I'm gonna go ahead and open it the rest of the way, all the way, which don't like much being on there. But the saw, they say it don't have a choke on it and all, but it don't. You don't pull it till it pops like you do. You still have a start on it, but I guess, you know, when it cranks, it just cranks right there when it's cold, and then when so when it's right there when you hit the trigger, it drops it down to run. But it don't start it on like a fast idle. It's saw's got about a quarter of a tank left in it. I looked at before I made that last cut, so that's pretty good. It would probably cut 3 or 4 more cookies there off and do that, I'm sure, with what the gas it's got in it. But like I said, all in all, I did not like the saw with that 32-inch, that normal weighted bar on there. I wasn't crazy about that, and I opted to get that 32 because I didn't have a 32. I was trying to get something that I didn't have, right? So that was the thing on that. There's a couple things that I want to point out. I want a full wrap panel for the saw. These saws here need full wrap panel. For some reason, full wraps are not popular on this side of the United States. If you go over there on the west side of the United States, over there up in Canada, you will get laughed at. You pull a saw out like that right there because it don't have it. And there are some big advantages to having a full wrap panel on it. A lot of advantages. There are some drawbacks to having a full wrap. You know, if you're trying to cut right at the ground, you're not going to cut right at the ground. It's a little bit aggravating trying to fuel it up with the full wrap panel sticking out right there. That's just 2 negatives on it, but the positive far way outweigh the negatives. It, like, especially when you flip the saw over this way, you've got something to hold on to over here on this side. And I cut a lot like that, and it's a huge benefit to have it like that. I don't know why they won't do something, or like on this one here, they did put a hole. These aluminum chain catches are they're not any count, because you hit them about 3 times with these big saws like this, and that thing's toast. It's history. They did put a hole right there for a chain catch. I've got one in my shop that I think will go on here and work. I'll try putting it on and put a real one on it. But why they didn't go ahead and drop this one on down to where it's like the West Coast dogs, to where the chain catch bolts over here and then it goes through this one here, so you're rigid, you're solid rigid. You don't have anything sticking out that you know is not supported. I'm not up on West Coast saws on if they got a set of dogs for this saw. I'm sure they probably do. I need to look at it and see, but if they do, I will be putting a set on there. And if they got them in the 3-point, that's what I'll be putting on it. I really like their dogs a lot. Their dogs are the real deal, man. These right here, like, they're not sharp at all. The West Coast, you can't do that on. It would actually stick me and go into my finger if I were to do that on them. Like I said, those dogs are the real deal. Now, one thing they do got on this in here is this dog does line up with the cutting plane on the chain, which was pretty smart on their part, because that's the reason why I want the 3-point dogs from West Coast, because they line up there. But they're just, man, those dogs are unbelievably good. I wish, for some reason, you see more aftermarket stuff for the Steels than you do the Huskies. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them come out with the bark boxes for the Huskies, man. For everything from a 550 all the way up to this saw here, man. That'd be awesome if they'd do that. But yeah, it'd be good. Well, my understanding is, boy, it's tough to get some saws right now too. I know I waited on this one for a long time. I got it from Bryant and him over, well, you seen it earlier in the video. For power equipment, it was gosh, tax and all is $1,500 and something dollars. That's what I paid for this saw. And so there you go. We'll run her some more. I just wanted to run it a little bit on video where you could hear it, see it. I think it's gonna work pretty good. Like I said, it's running a lot better now. I ain't gonna lie, I was the other day when I first cranked it and I'm running that half tank of gas through it, I wasn't real happy with it. I was pretty disappointed with it. I was actually regretting that I bought it, because I was like, man, if this thing's gonna run like this right here, this ain't gonna work. But I cranked it and shut it off a bunch of times in my shop, just kind of playing with it, working with the throttle, and I don't know if that got it adjusted to where it needed to be. But yeah, so there you go. So let me know in the comments down below. I know there's people that have had them for a couple months. I think the first batch of them came over here maybe February or something like that, or late February, and there's one but just a few of them that got out and about in the wild. And there's some folks got some time on them, been running them, and I'll do another video. We'll weigh it against the 661, because that's what this saw is going to be comparable to. It's a 661, and we'll do some Steel Husqvarna videos. We'll run this one against the 661. We'll also run it against the 500i. We'll play with it on that too, because this one, if I'm not mistaken, the 661 is I think it's 91.2 or 91.3 cc's, and of course, like I said, this one is 93 right there. And in the chainsaw world, man, a cc makes a big difference. I mean, just one cc makes a big difference on the chainsaw. But yeah, we'll play with it and run it through its paces. And so, and I like the 661. The 661 is it's a workhorse of a saw too. And also, all right, I'm gonna cut this video off. Then probably gotten a little long here, but again, let me know what you think down below, man. Kicked out some bad to the bone videos since Saturday. Go back and watch the one on the scrapers, the old John Deere scrapers, a 862 and a 7062 that I put out Saturday. And then go and look at the one on the new processor, which is on Sunday's video. And this one right here will be Monday. And so trying to crank out some good stuff for y'all to watch. If you like my stuff, please subscribe. I appreciate that. Click that bell. I do a lot of videos like this right here, chainsaws and whatever. So we'll catch y'all later. Thank y'all for watching. Later, taters.